Have I ever told you about my guilty pleasure about anime games? I think it's a habit of mine for more than 20 years since I first played Captain Tsubasa's NES titles, and then Naruto and One Piece games of PlayStation 2 era are to blame. Even if they suck, turn out to be a mediocre experience, I love anime games, whether it be a Musou title or not. I was planning to make this review about JoJo All-Star Battle R back in September, actually with the launch of Part 6. Back then, I was occupied with other titles like Splatoon 3 and Theofield Chronicle, so I totally forgot about All-Star Battle R. Since the Part 9 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure called JoJo Lands is about to be released in 1 month, I started reading Part 8 JoJolion once again and found myself playing this remaster. JoJo All-Star Battle R is actually a remaster of the same named PlayStation 3 game that is developed by CyberConnect 2 back in 2013. CyberConnect 2 is mostly known by their Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm titles and the most recent Kimetsu no Yaiba game. But when compared to those games, JoJo All-Star Battle R feels more like a traditional fighting game. It is not an arena fighting game like Naruto or Kimetsu, but rather feels a bit like Tekken with usual Street Fighter inputs. Though this doesn't mean that it can compete with the big boys of fighting genre. Maybe that's why whenever I played All-Star Battle R, I wish that Bandai Namco could have made either a new game or a definitive edition with more mechanics and game modes. Instead, we have some visual upgrades, some additional maps and characters with a port for every new gen platform, with a shitty rollback netcode. If you have played Capcom's JoJo fighting game and think that's still the best JoJo game out there, All-Star Battle R probably won't change your mind at all. But if you played the latest JoJo title like Eyes of Heaven and wanted to have more a traditional fighting game, then All-Star Battle R might please you. I underline the word might here and heed my words, All-Star Battle R is a low-effort remaster except its new characters and maps. Although there are some additional modes like All-Star Battle that is supposed to be like the new mission mode as a single-player experience, and new characters like Risotto Nero and Prosciutto from Part 5 and Foo Fighter and Weather Report of 6, there are also some features that are taken from the game. God knows why, for some stupid reason, and one of that is the story mode. I literally have no idea why the story mode is deleted from the game, but instead we have this All-Star Battle mode starting from the first part to the 8th. There are specific battles that you can accomplish to earn coins, unlock new costumes and customizations. This is basically the single player content besides the arcade mode. Though if you are planning to relive the JoJo story or at least try to learn more about the story just like other anime games offer, you won't be happy at all. It does not have any story explaining cutscenes, not even illustrations or anything. JoJo All-Star Battle R is made especially for JoJo fans, so if you have no idea about JoJo, it won't appeal to you at all. Unfortunately, you require this urge to play a JoJo game to get hooked to All-Star Battle R. It's not trying to welcome any newcomers to its world. Let's say you enjoy the visuals, the gameplay or the JoJo feeling to it. All-Star Battle mode has of course a gameplay length that's mostly around like 6 to 7 hours probably, and after that either you gotta play arcade mode on your own, maybe do some survival mode or stuff, or you would normally go multiplayer and fight people online from all over the world, right? Well, that could have been the case if All-Star Battle R didn't have the worst netcode ever. And of course there's no cross-platform between PlayStation, Xbox, Switch or Steam, so I would advise you to choose the most popular platform depending on where you live. If I were to talk about the gameplay mechanics, a blend of Tekken and Street Fighter would be right on point. If you watched my Rival Schools video previously, you might also get the similarities in gameplay mechanics, though All-Star Battle R feels slower and depends more on character gimmicks and special moves, rather than combining combos. Just like many 3D fighting games, JoJo has also the sidestep mechanics and popular input motions like forward and backwards fireball. However, the key to the victory is using a strong character and mastering your character's gimmicks and special moves. We are talking about an anime fighting game developed by CyberConnect here, which means tier list is quite important and crucial. If you pick a character like Diavolo, for example, your win rate might increase up to 75%. Wonderful, right? Characters from part 3 to part 8 have different stands that they can use, and just by pressing a specific button you can summon them to access their abilities and additional gimmicks. Characters like Joseph and Jonathan have Hamon instead of stand abilities, which means that they can increase their energy meter quicker than others, but has less gimmicks due to the lack of stand abilities. In regard to that, although characters like Johnny and Gyro has stands, their stand summon input makes them call their horse. That would grant them mobility, longer hit frames and additional abilities. That's why it is crucial to pick your favorite character first, then check if it's above B tier or not and learn its gimmicks first if you're gonna be serious. What's a bit interesting is that all of the new added characters, especially Foo Fighter and Weather Report, have quite interesting movesets consisting of gap closers and gimmicks that make me wish for a general rework, to be honest. Such rework would have made All-Star Battle R more interesting, and I'm sure many would invest their time to discover new combos, gimmicks about the newly reworked characters, but instead all we have the same characters with the same moves and new characters with interesting, somewhat broken moves. But that's the thing, character moves or investing time doesn't mean a lot much unless you have at least a decent netcode or a multiplayer mode. There are many fun characters to play that are quite faithful to manga and anime, but All-Star Battle R can get boring quite quickly unless you find someone to play with. You can cheese your way out with stupid gimmicks, make them go batshit crazy and have fun with your friends for hours, but that's it. In such state, if you're not a crazy JoJo fan, I dare say it has a lifespan of maybe 10 hours max. In 10 hours you will be sated and forget about All-Star Battle R. Although there are still 3 unannounced characters that will be released this year, All-Star Battle R requires fundamental improvements and a better netcode, and if possible crossplay to keep itself alive. I think these are quite crucial and vital improvements that will also attract new players. JoJo All-Star Battle R could have been way better. It could have improved what the PlayStation 3 version lacked, reworked the characters, improved the netcode to present a decent and a challenging fighting game rather than accepting the mediocre anime game level. It is such a shame that it cannot pass the level of a game for hardcore JoJo fans at all, and it's one of the biggest selling point is being the first JoJo game on PC platform, not its fighting mechanics or what it offers. Never mind the new maps and the new characters, at least Bandai Namco could have implemented a better netcode just like Capcom does with their remasters and ports, but I think they just kinda accepted the mediocrity. It might look like a decent fighting game, but its gameplay length is quite short as long as you find friends who are really into JoJo just like you do.